Alright, so with this iconic sequence of intro videos, welcome to what'll, I hope this time, be the final, proper Let's Play of SpellForce on my channel. I've tried it twice before, gave up both times for various reasons, and the issues I had with those Let's Plays, I want to address here. So, before we actually get into it, I need to talk about a few things that'll be different compared to when I last did this. If you're not interested, you can skip it. I'll put the time for the actual, gameplay part to start somewhere on the screen, probably on the right-hand side, so just go there, you can watch it. Anyhow, there's a few changes. The first one that you've probably seen already is that this is going to be a 4x3 Let's Play, meaning I'm going to be playing in this kind of ratio. Now, this might not be to everyone's liking, but there's a few reasons why I decided to do it. First, because I personally play in a ratio like this. I like to do it, and stretching the video post, recording in my software just makes it look a little bit, I don't want to say bad, it makes it look stretchy. And I don't think that's the best representation of the game. The game wasn't made for 16:9, so just playing like this makes it a bit more natural, at least in my opinion. Now, as you've seen on the right hand side, to cover the black bars that usually you get when you play in 4x3, I will have this leathery sort of text panel on the side. What that's going to be used for is generally little infos, little tips that I'm going to give throughout the gameplay, but things that I'm not going to be saying, in the recording itself. So think of it as, well, there's a cool creature here, I want to know more about it, but I didn't say that in the recording, so I'll just put, little lore bits in there. Maybe infos about a person or infos about a place that I find interesting. Truth be told, it's probably going to be empty for most of the time, but, if you're watching and if you're actually interested in those kinds of things, you can always look over there, see, oh, hey, there's a little bit of text, and read up on, certain things. So that's how the ratio is going to be handled. What I'll also do there, at the start of every episode, and I think I could do that now, I'll have the quests that were started and completed in the span of this one episode written on the right-hand side. You'll notice the episodes that I'll be doing here, and you can see that by, checking the length of this video, will be quite a bit longer than the short episodes that I used to do. Meaning, if someone is looking for a quest to complete or things like that, maybe kind of like a guide type of thing, it isn't the easiest to know, which quests were started and completed in each of the episodes. So to make that easier, for side quests, main quests, they'll just be, as part of the level. I'm pretty sure most people are fine with that, but for side quests, they'll be written on the right-hand side and in the description. So the ones we start and the ones we complete. For this one, I don't think we'll complete any side quests because it's the tutorial mission, right? But starting from the next one, it'll be there. Yeah, and I think that's everything I wanted to cover. There's two more things. One of them is that I'm living with a cat. So if at any point you hear meows or weird noises, don't worry, it's my cat jumping around. The other thing is the language of this Let's Play. So, you can see the text is in English, and I want the text to be in English because, most people watching this don't know German, which is the language I usually play this in. That being said, the voices are in German, and this is identical to the last Let's Play I did because I simply prefer the German voices. I know some people like to play this game in English. I am not one of those people, so I'll be playing it in German. I hope, that's fine. It's a better experience overall. And in situations where, something important is said, I will obviously comment on it, but you can also always read what the characters say. Alright, with that out of the way, I think we can start. So, let's choose the character first. I'll be playing as a guy with this face. I feel like that's nostalgic. It's always been my go-to. I kind of associate my character with just this guy over here. It's not the canon character. Canonically, we'd be playing a woman in the Order of Dawn, but we don't really mind that here. The name, though, that's kind of a tricky thing to get. I think... What should we choose? What should we choose? You know, I honestly... Should I go with the channel name? It's kind of bland. Okay, let's go with something different. Let's go with my cat's name. Yeah, let's just go with my cat's name. Jokko. For anyone wondering. Because I know some people might be asking that in the comments later. Alright, so we are Jokko for this one. For what I want to play, I was thinking about doing something, a hybrid build. Because usually when people do these kinds of Let's Plays, you know, it'll be heavy combat, it'll be light combat. It might be a combination of white magic and heavy combat, or white magic and light combat, which is very strong, but kinda typical. Too typical. So I want something that's a little bit different. So I was thinking of doing... what should we do? I want to do black magic, actually. So let's do a black magic sort of thief-ish character. Why don't we? And what I mean by that is, we do black magic, and we'll do light combat, piercing weapons. So light combat, piercing weapons, light armor, but black magic. I think we'll go for that. For the sake of it being a little bit... Well, I think it would be easier to start with light combat, but let's just do black magic. And I want to start with... I don't want necromancy for this. I want death, and curses would also kind of be good. But let's do... 1, 2, 3... I can't do both if I want to put them to the max level, so... death or curse. You know what? Let's do curse. I want to do curse. Alright. And for that I need a lot of intelligence and wisdom. So let's separate this accordingly. I think that's a bit too much. And I will need dexterity and agility for this here. So let's do it like that. I kind of want to have it even. Of course, I do want to spec a little bit more into dexterity and agility with this whole thing. That being said, I also want to put a little bit into stamina, just so I don't die immediately. And maybe a point into strength. Let's do it like this. I think this is a fine distribution. And yeah, with that, let's begin.
Alles begann mit der Entdeckung des Allfeuers und dem Geheimnis der Konvokation. 13 Magier, verblendet, getrieben von der Gier nach göttlicher Macht und unter der Knechtschaft des Zirkels entfesselten ihre Armeen den Tod. Gebunden an die Kraft uralter Runen, verflucht zu ewigem Leben und ewigem Sterben. Bis der letzte Tag des alten Zeitalters angebrochen war.
Seid ihr gekommen, um Zeuge meines endgültigen Triumphes zu werden, alter Mann?
Nein, nur Zeuge eures Untergangs. Ihr könnt nicht gewinnen. Die Konvokation ist eine Lüge. Sie wird uns alle vernichten.
Ist das so?
gewesen.
Der einzige Narr seid ihr. Ihr hättet nicht kommen sollen.
Tahira! Rohn schickt uns. Er braucht die Macht der Runenkrieger. Die Nordreiche sind in Gefahr.
Rohn weiß, dass ich nie wieder einem Zirkelmagier dienen werde. Meine Kräfte sind verbraucht. Ich habe genug Leid und Blutvergießen gesehen. Rohn wird sich jemand anderen suchen müssen.
Deshalb schickt er uns ja. Irgendwo in diesen Landen liegt eine ganz besondere Rune verborgen. Wir sind hier, um sie zu suchen. Aber wir wurden angegriffen und Lev ist verletzt. Er braucht deine Hilfe. Wir brauchen deine Hilfe.
Dann bleibt mir wohl kaum eine Wahl. Also gut, ich werde euch helfen. Wo ist Lev?
Ich habe ihn irgendwo dort hinter dem Tor aus den Augen verloren. Ich hoffe, er lebt noch. Diese verfluchten Orks!
Ich werde ihn suchen. Du bleibst hier, bei meiner Hütte.
Danke, Tahira. Schön, dass du wieder dabei bist.
Okay, so after this intro
Willkommen in
section,
der Welt von
I'll skip this.
Ja, wenn
Let me just skip
selektieren
this.
Sie Ihren Avatar, indem Sie mit der linken Maustaste in der Spielwelt auf Tahira klicken.
So, before this continues, I will quickly go through the tutorial,
Sehr
because
gut.
yeah, it's gonna be
Bewegen Sie
annoying.
Tahira durch einen Klick
Come on,
mit der
give me a-
rechten
give me a
Maustaste
bit
nach
of respite.
Osten den Weg entlang durch
Just
das
1 minute to
offene
talk,
Steintor bis zu dem
please.
Seelenfels, einem großen Steinbrocken.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay, so the tutorial, right? So for those of you who are completely new, maybe you've found this Let's Play and thought to yourself, you know, hey, what's SpellForce? I want to check it out. This is the tutorial of the game. We are not playing as our character yet. As you can see, we are playing as Tahira. And the reason why I'm doing this isn't because I per se need a tutorial, but because the tutorial is also kind of lore relevant. Not really, compared to a lot of other maps, but the location is interesting. It basically tells a little bit of a... I wouldn't want to call it prequel, but maybe a little preface to what the actual story is going to be and how our character is going to, you know, come to this world. Which, yeah, I find interesting. Also, the location, the ruins of Ankbrand, for those of you who don't know. I don't think it's mentioned anywhere except for the game files, but yeah, the place we are going to, you know, get our character later, is going to be the ruins of a very important city, Ankbrand, in the lore of SpellForce. So I think that's cool, and that's the reason why I'm playing it. That being said, I will skip through the tooltips. I don't think there's any point in actually reading everything, so we don't spend 2-3 hours on the tutorial.
Selektieren Sie den Seelenfels mit einem Klick.
Just like this. And then we move on. But yeah, as you could see here, and both
Am unteren Bildrand befindet sich die Aktionsleiste.
Alright, some more
Hier
stuff.
ist nun ein neues Symbol für Seelenfels aktivieren erschienen. Klicken Sie auf das Symbol.
I don't want to talk over this because it's just going to be difficult, you know, to hear both.
Der Seelenfels. Gehen Sie den Weg weiter nach Osten.
I also don't want to, you know, let everything play out. But yeah, as you could see, the voices are German. The text is English. The opening sequence, if I haven't done this... Yeah, oh, come on, please, do it quickly. All right. The opening sequence, if I haven't done it yet, will have English subtitles for what they said. This is irrelevant for you. I'm just saying this to remind myself to put them in later while editing the video. Now let's see. Third person perspective. Oh, I love this in SpellForce.
Folgen Sie in der Verfolgerperspektive dem Weg nach Osten bis zum nächsten Steintor.
You know, some people say they don't play in this sort of perspective, which, okay, I can understand it, you know. Mainly, we will be playing in this isometric view, but this is also so nice just to walk through the world, you know. It looks nice.
Selektieren Sie Ihren Avatar und klicken Sie
Oh, hi,
mit der
Rabbit.
rechten Maustaste auf den Goblin. Ihr Avatar greift den Goblin an. Sobald er besiegt ist, geht es weiter.
You see, this you wouldn't see from up there. Can we see the rabbit? We can kind of see the rabbit, but he's hiding. If I'm like this, ta-da, there we go. Hey, rabbit, you'd make a fine stew. All right, let's get the goblin. One thing that is difficult in this perspective, and I think that's one of the big improvements of SpellForce 2, is how they actually handle attacking. It's a lot better in third person in SpellForce 2. In SpellForce 1, it's not impossible, but it's a bit more tricky.
Am linken Bildrand sehen Sie dann, welche Gegenstände der Goblin bei sich trug. Nehmen Sie den Schild durch einen Klick mit. Er wird automatisch in Ihr Inventar einsortiert.
Yes, thank you. I already know what the tutorial wants me to do, so I'm just, you know, kind of skipping ahead of that.
Um Ihr Inventar zu öffnen, klicken Sie den Rucksack unten in der Aktionsleiste oder die I-Taste. Ein Fenster öffnet sich und links sind nun verschiedene Rubriken Ihres Inventars anwählbar. Klicken Sie auf das Ring-Symbol. Er steht für Ausrüstungsgegenstände.
Yes, I sort of did that. Come on, tutorial, keep up. Alright, let's go.
Um den Schild anziehen zu können, müssen Sie ihn zunächst an die Maus nehmen. Klicken Sie dazu auf den Schild und klicken Sie dann auf das noch freie Fach für die linke Hand neben dem Oberkörper.
I do wish that tooltips could be disabled, like they can in SpellForce 2.
Schließen Sie nun das Inventar mit einem Klick auf den Haken unten rechts im Fenster oder auf den Rucksack oder durch erneutes Drücken von I.
To be fair, SpellForce 2 is a bit different in the fact that tutorial is the first level. So,
folgen
you know,
Sie dem Weg durch das nächste Steintor, bis Sie auf den verletzten Lev treffen.
makes the situation somewhat different, but, you know, we'll handle it, we'll manage.
Wenn Ihnen selektieren Sie Ihren Avatar.
Ich hätte bei meinen Büchern bleiben sollen. Ich hoffe, du hast deine Heilkunst nicht verlernt, Tahira. Hilf mir. Bitte, heile mich.
We can do that for a fee. Nah, we'll do it out of
die einfachste Möglichkeit,
the goodness of
das
our heart.
Click-and-Fight-System. Selektieren Sie dazu Lev. Unter dem Porträt-Button Ihres Avatars erscheinen nun alle sinnvollen Aktionen für dieses Ziel. Die blaue Hand ist das Symbol für den Heilspruch. Klicken Sie auf das Symbol, um Lev zu heilen.
Speaking of click and fight, wasn't that... I think that was sort of a revolutionary thing for a lot of games back in the day. I'm not sure if any games besides SpellForce had this like kind of click and fight thing, because I just got like Warcraft, I don't think had it. Other games I can't even remember, but If some of them did, please let me know in the comments, but I don't think so. I think it was kind of like a SpellForce thing at that point. So, yeah, pretty cool. I like the click and fight system because it's very simple to use and utilize in the vast majority of situations. And later, when we fight against armies, I'm going to show you a couple of tips you can, use to make it easier even when you're dealing with huge hordes of enemies. Because it's super useful. And I feel a little bit, I don't want to say underrated. Pretty much everyone who plays SpellForce uses the click and fight system, but maybe not to its fullest extent, so underrated in that sense, perhaps.
Ich danke dir, Tahira. Ohne dich wäre ich verloren gewesen. Aonir sei Dank, dass Kaele dich gefunden hat.
Was ist überhaupt geschehen? Ihr seid auf der Suche nach einer Rune?
Ja, eine besondere Rune. Rohin ist sich sicher, dass sie irgendwo in den Ruinen von Ankbrand liegen muss. Aber die Ruinen wimmeln nur so von Orks. Wir mussten fliehen. Nur Joshua gelang es, sich zu verstecken. Kaele wusste, wo dein Haus steht. Deshalb haben wir uns bis zu dir durchgeschlagen. Bitte, du musst uns helfen.
Schön. Ich werde eure Rune holen. Du bleibst hier und erholst dich erst einmal.
Wie du befiehlst. Pass auf dich auf, Tahira. Hier, diese Zauberspruchrolle habe ich von einem der Orks erbeutet. Vielleicht kann sie dir nützlich sein. Folge immer dem Weg. Vielleicht triffst du irgendwo auf Joshua. Mögen die Götter geben, dass er noch lebt.
Alright, we can put that in.
Sie haben als Belohnung zusätzliche Erfahrungspunkte gewonnen. Öffnen Sie Ihr Inventar und klicken Sie links im Fenster das Symbol für Zauberbuch an.
So I was wrong earlier. He does mention the ruins of Ankbrand in this conversation. For some reason I thought that wasn't the case, but it's been a while since I've played the tutorial, so... Mistake on my end.
Links sehen Sie nun das Inventar. Klicken Sie auf die Zauberspruchrolle im Inventar, um sie an den Mauszeiger zu nehmen. Klicken Sie dann auf ein beliebiges freies Feld in Ihrem Zauberbuch.
My cat has got the zoomies right now, and he's jumping
Sie
all
haben
over the
nun
place.
Lernen Sie den
He's on the window,
Zauberspruch Feuerball,
like on the windowsill,
indem Sie
kinda.
auf das Feuerball-Symbol in Ihrem Zauberbuch und danach in ein beliebiges freies Feld in Ihrem Zaubergedächtnis klicken.
Should be fine as long as he doesn't break anything. Speaking of, we had to kind of like cat-proof
Schließen Sie nun Ihr
many of the
Inventar.
walls in the house because he would try to jump on windows and crawl his way up. So yeah,
Folgen
that's
Sie
no
dem Weg,
bueno.
bis Sie den Minotaurus sehen.
He's a good boy. Russian blue for anyone who's asking. And
Benutzen
yeah,
Sie den Zauberspruch
likes to cuddle a
Feuerball,
lot,
um
which
die
I like.
Minotauren zu besiegen. Hinter dem
Alright,
nächsten
let's go.
Tor wartet ein Feuerelementarwesen auf Sie, welches völlig resistent gegen Feuermagie ist.
Oh, but
Folgen Sie dem Weg.
did I just go through the gate? Alright, I just fused through it, I guess. It could be that once the gate
Versuchen
starts
Sie,
lowering...
Ihren Zauberspruch
come
Feuerball
on.
gegen das Feuerelementar einzusetzen. Wenn ein Wesen einem Zauberspruch widerstanden hat, sehen Sie weiße, abprallende Funken. Besiegen Sie danach das Feuerelementar im Nahkampf.
There we go. Didn't work. Honestly, boxes like this, the biggest enemy of people trying to do commentary. Because they always pop in when you're trying to say something, and you kind of lose momentum. That's annoying, but it's only the case in the tutorial. So, yeah. From the next episode, which is speaking of... I'm probably gonna talk about this once we get to a more quiet portion of this tutorial, but
Das Feuerelementar hatte eine Heldenrune und
I am
viele
not
Gegenstände
sure
dabei.
yet
Nehmen
how
Sie
I want
diese
to
an
space
sich.
these episodes out. Because every map will be one episode, pretty much.
Neben Ihrem Hauptcharakter stehen Ihnen bis zu 5 Helden gleichzeitig zur Verfügung. Die Helden sind Ihre stärksten Verbündeten und können auch... Öffnen Sie Ihr Inventar und gehen Sie in die Rubrik Runentafel.
Alright, let's wait. Let's wait this little portion out, and then we will talk about this. Come on, let me through. I've done it. Come on, there we go.
Links, je nachdem, welche Stufe Ihr Avatar
Hi, Doe.
hat, können Sie
It's
bis
a
zu
deer,
5 Runen
Doe.
gleichzeitig verwenden.
I love bad jokes.
Klicken Sie auf die
I really
Rune
love
des
bad
Helden
jokes.
und setzen Sie sie in eines der freien Felder oben
Kind of
in der
scratches an
Runentafel
itch
ein.
for me, you know? When I hear a bad joke, I know it's not funny. It does make me giggle though,
Nun müssen
and
Sie
that makes
den
me happy.
Helden noch ausrüsten. Sie haben einen Bogen, einen Dolch und 2 Rüstungsteile erhalten. Gehen Sie in das Inventar und wählen Sie die Rubrik Ausrüstung.
You know, I feel like the game's kind of slow on this end. I've
Auf
done it,
der
come on.
rechten Seite des
Die Rune
Fensters
hoch.
sehen Sie
Auf
nun
mein
2
Zeichen.
Porträts. Wählen Sie das
Auf mein
untere
Kommando.
Porträt für Ihren
Mir nach.
Helden und geben Sie ihm die 4 neuen Gegenstände links in Ihrem Inventar. Der
Come on, buddy.
Bogen muss
Sofort.
in die linke Hand. Das ist das Fach auf der rechten Seite.
Come on, buddy, let's go. Alright,
Auf mein Kommando.
let's get these skellies out of the
Wenn
way
Ihr
and then...
Avatar oder ein
Folgt mir.
Held einen Gegenstand nicht benutzen kann,
Kämpfmänner!
so wird dieser mit einem roten Hintergrund markiert. Schließen Sie Ihr Inventar.
Sie sind überall!
Easy. Easy
Folgen
peasy
Sie
on
dem
that one.
Weg bis zu dem großen Monument. Es
Bereit
handelt
und
sich
los.
dabei um ein
Zur Ehre
Heldenmonument.
Aonirs!
Gehen Sie dicht an das
Das ist ein
Heldenmonument,
Hinterhalt!
selektieren Sie es und klicken Sie auf das Runensymbol
Bereit.
unten in der Aktionsleiste.
I'm just gonna push forward, it'll eventually catch up. I hope.
Auf mein Zeichen.
Unten links im Selekt. Nun können Sie die
Sofort.
Herbeirufung des Helden
Schnell.
auslösen. Selektieren Sie das Monument
Sofort.
und klicken Sie
Auf
unten
mein
in der
Kommando.
Aktionsleiste
Männer.
auf das Symbol für den Helden. Es dauert dann einige Sekunden, bis der Held erscheint.
Standhalten, Männer!
Oh, magic user. Well, you'll lie,
Dies
alright.
ist nun Wenn Sie
Good.
folgen Sie dem Weg weiter
Very
nach
good.
Süden. Es steht Ihnen ein. Setzen Sie Ihre Magie
sofort.
ein und besiegen Sie die
Sofort.
Untoten.
Okie dokie. We don't have to go up here necessarily. That will be for extra combat practice.
Sehr gut. Einer der Untoten
Good.
hat einen
Pers-
wertvollen
not bad,
Edelstein
right?
dabei.
But
Nehmen
we
Sie
don't
ihn.
need to do it, I believe. Because there's no loot, there's nothing, and experience... Well, in, you know, a normal
Falls
level,
Sie
I
noch
will
einige
always do
weitere
this.
Testkämpfe
Here,
durchführen
experience
wollen,
just
biegen Sie
isn't
hier
important.
Nach Norden ab.
So-
Ansonsten folgen Sie dem Weg weiter
und
nach
los.
Süden.
Yeah, so we will go south. Yeah, before we do that, just what I wanted to address earlier, the episodes, right? Episodes will be one map, with side quests maybe sprinkled across episodes a little bit, which, you know, goes back to the thing I said at the start, that each episode will have the list of completed side quests written before it starts. Now, that being said, since I will be making longer episodes, the uploads will obviously not be daily. For one, because I have to work and have other things to do. And another reason is because I just don't want the whole thing to be done in like 2 weeks. Right? So I'm thinking of, I don't know, giving it a couple of days, maybe. A 1 week max, but I don't think it'll go that far. So let's say maybe 4 or 5 days between episodes, where I could, you know, comfortably record the next one and upload it. Between those, I obviously also want to make regular videos that I do, so lore videos. I have a couple of things lined up that I want to talk about, but these would kind of just like be the Let's Play portion of the channel. So let's say 4 days. Don't hold me on that. I might change that to 3, I might change it to 5, depending on, you know, how busy I am. It might vary from episode to episode, but generally it'll be in that range. So yeah, I think that should be fine. Especially because I'm not sure how long this episode is going to be.
Schnell!
I could imagine well over an
Folgen Sie
hour.
den Weg bis zu dem Händler.
Mir nach!
Händler sind durch eine
Vorwärts.
sich drehende Münze über den
Folgt
Kopf
mir.
hervorgehoben.
Right? So it will probably be over an hour. There are some maps in SpellForce, the Order of Dawn especially, but you know, the other add-ons too, that are way, way, way longer. So we might have episodes of 2 hours, 2.5, 3, if we like to clear everything. For those episodes, I have to see if I want to split them. I'm kind of not a fan of the idea, because I want to keep them as one episode, and for you, the viewer, watching from at home, you can always stop watching, do something else, and come back, you know, resume. So that shouldn't really be an issue. It's more for me and the way I'm recording. But I've played all the maps in one sitting before.
Mir nach.
Not as in like the whole game in one sitting, but one particular map. So
Vorwärts.
I think I'll manage. I'm not that old yet.
Folgt mir.
Let's see.
Bei
Lemuel.
einem Händler können Sie Gegenstände jeder
Gimme.
Art kaufen und
Alright.
verkaufen.
Auf mein Kommando. Und los.
Of course I
Gehen
can.
Sie in
There we
die
go.
Nähe des Händlers und sprechen Sie den Händler an, indem Sie ihn mit der rechten Maustaste anklicken. Es erscheint ein Fenster mit dem
Hier.
Händlermenü. Im
Auf mein
Fenster links
Kommando.
wählen Sie
Ja.
das unterste Symbol für die Kategorie Quest- und Wertgegenstände. Klicken Sie auf den Edelstein. Der angebotene Gegenstand wird grün markiert und in der Mitte sehen Sie den Preis, den der Händler bezahlen will. Klicken Sie auf Verkaufen.
What would I do without this tutorial?
Mit dem Geld wollen Sie sich nun etwas anderes kaufen. Klicken Sie auf die Rubrik Runen und erwerben Sie die Menschenarbeiterrune.
No, but in all seriousness, it's a good tutorial. It's a bit slow though in its pace. I have bought the rune. I have bought it. I have inserted it into my... Oh, there we go.
Beenden Sie den Handel durch einen Klick
Ja,
auf den
folgt mir.
Haken unten rechts im
Folgt
Fenster
mir.
oder die Escape-Taste.
Sofort.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought I had bugged the game out for a second there.
Öffnen Sie Ihr Inventar. Wählen Sie
Ja,
links die
vorwärts.
Rubrik Runentafel aus und legen Sie die gerade erworbene Menschenarbeiterrune in das Fach mit dem Menschenporträt unten links in der Runentafel.
That gave me a little bit of a scare, I'll be honest with you, because I would have to re-record everything. That's probably
Schließen Sie nun
half
Ihr
an hour at this
Inventar.
point. So,
Ja, vorwärts.
I don't even know. I haven't looked at the time when I started
Folgen Sie
recording.
dem Weg bis zum Seelenfeld.
And even though I have a second monitor, the recording software is behind the game, so I can't see how long it's been going for, but
Selektieren
it should
Sie
be
den
fine.
Seelenfels und aktivieren Sie ihn unten in der Aktionsleiste. Falls Sie sterben, müssen Sie jetzt nicht mehr den ganzen Weg bis zu diesem Ort laufen.
It may be detailed, this tutorial, but
Von einem
Ei, ei,
See,
ei.
wenn Sie möchten, können Sie dies jetzt ausprobieren. Ansonsten folgen Sie dem Weg weiter bis zu dem Menschenmonument.
I do not know, but we'll do that soon enough anyway on the next map.
Reden Sie mit Joshua, dem Mann direkt neben dem Monument.
Tahira, die anderen haben dich also gefunden.
Ja, sie sind wohl auf. Hast du herausfinden können, wo die Rune ist, Joshua?
Im Lager der Orks. Ich glaube, ihr Anführer trägt sie bei sich. Sieh dich vor, diese Biester sind zäh. Du wirst dich gut vorbereiten müssen. Wenn du sie besiegt hast, dann bring die Rune zu mir. Ich werde sie Meister Rohn übergeben.
Hey, that's our character. No, not really, but the face is the
Sie haben
same.
nun einen neuen Auftrag erhalten. Öffnen
Bereit und
Sie Ihr
los.
Inventar
The face
und
is the
wählen Sie
same.
die Seite Questbuch.
That's kind of the funny thing about old games like this, you know, they had a limited amount of faces that they could use, even some new games. So what often ends up happening is just the same characters, multiple characters having the same face. And you'll see that on, I think, the third map, when our character is going to be talking to a side quest character on a map called Eloni, will have the same face. And I always think that's hilarious to an extent.
Was wünscht ihr?
Obviously a limitation, right, of when the game was made. They couldn't have a million faces to put into the game, but it results in some funny situations. I know I have to open the quest book. Before I do that, I just want to kind of send them to collect stuff, because I know I'll have to eventually, so.
Hier bin ich. An die Arbeit. Was wünscht ihr?
A general good tip when, you know, making bases, if you're new to this game for some reason, is to, at least for me, that's what I like to do. Other people might have other preferences, but make as many workers as you can, at least like 17 to 20, and just send them to do stuff. Now, with humans are very evenly spaced out on the resources they need. They need wood, they need stone, they need iron, and they'll need lenya after.
Hier bin ich. Schon auf dem
So,
Weg. An die Arbeit.
in their
Dort
case,
entlang.
I don't
Auf
think
geht's.
it's too much of a hassle to think of, like, who am I gonna send who? Just do 5 wood, 5 stone, 5 iron. Obviously, if you have, excuse me, if you have more stone like here, you can add more, but you'll see why I said 5 a bit later. For other races, like elves, for example, who don't use any stone and heavily rely on wood, you could take, do 10 on stone just to collect as much as you can. So it's really about finding a good balance. And yeah, I will also build a woodcutters for them, just so they, get to that. The reason why you choose 5 generally is because once this hut's complete, you'll see the buildings for workers only house 5 workers max, right? Some of them do 1 worker, some of them do 5. Woodcutter's hut, stonemason, mine, they all do 5. So you could put more there, they'll keep on carrying it back, but then you'd either have to build a second building for them, or just, use 5, which is the maximum for one of these buildings. And making these buildings is generally worth it, because it makes the work quicker. They don't give you more with, with each log they carry, you'll still get 10. With each stone, you'll still get 10, but they do it a lot quicker. And yeah, they get assigned to this building, so you don't need to keep them up here anymore. Alright, let's get the quest book done with. The Lost Rune.
In der Mitte des schließen Sie Ihr Inventar.
I do like to read through the quest book. This is not so much the case in SpellForce 1.
Gehen Sie in die Nähe des Monuments,
alright.
selektieren Sie das Monument und klicken Sie auf das Runensymbol
Was wünscht
unten
ihr?
in der Aktionsleiste.
Well ahead of you, honey. Well ahead of you. Where do I
In
put
dem
this?
Augenblick, in dem Sie ein Arbeitermonument
Auf
belegen,
geht's.
der Arbeiter erscheint nach einigen Sekunden. Sie können das Symbol auch mehrfach anklicken, um weitere Arbeiter in Auftrag zu geben. Produzieren Sie wenigstens 5 Arbeiter.
Yeah, we can do that.
Gebäude wurde
Wenn Sie
errichtet.
das Sie können links selektieren Sie Arbeiter
Zu
und
Diensten.
schicken Sie mit der rechten Maustaste zum Baumfällen. Lassen
An
Sie
die
sie
Arbeit.
Steine und Erz abbauen, bis Sie wenigstens 50 Einheiten von jedem der 3 Rohstoffe haben.
Already taken care of.
Hier bin ich.
Sehr gut. Selektieren Sie einen beliebigen Arbeiter und klicken Sie auf das Bausymbol unten in der Aktionsleiste. Es erscheint eine Auswahl von
Gebäude wurde
Gebäuden.
errichtet.
Klicken Sie die Holzfällerhütte an und wählen Sie in der Spielwelt einen Standort in der Nähe des Waldes.
I think... Okay, I'll say it after the next
Der
tooltip, but
gewählte wählen Sie nun andere Arbeiter aus und bauen Sie außerdem
yeah,
noch
we've
einen Steinbruch
done
in der
that and
Nähe
we've
der
done that,
Felsen
so
und eine Mine bei den
all's taken care of.
Erzvorkommen.
Rotating buildings, right?
bin ich.
When I do this. I know some people always
In
ask
jedem
about
dieser
this.
Rohstoffgebäude
I feel like
warten
it's...
Sie, bis alle 3
Okay,
Gebäude fertiggestellt
yes,
sind.
we have done that, yes.
Falls ein Gebäude nicht mehr weitergebaut wird, haben Sie versehentlich alle Arbeiter von der Baustelle abgezogen.
Okay. Now, the next tooltip is gonna show up, yeah. I'll say it after.
In der Umgebung Ihrer Basis befinden sich zahlreiche Tiere. Bauen Sie ein Jagdhaus, um sich Nahrungsmittel zu beschaffen.
Alright, so,
Lassen Sie außerdem das kleine Haupthaus errichten, damit Sie über bis zu 30 Arbeiter verfügen.
Wird sofort erledigt.
okay, so what I wanted to say, rotating buildings. Common knowledge at this point, I think, but there's always 1 or 2 people who just haven't used it, right? Who don't know about it. So for me, now, this might be different. I don't think it is for other people, but for me, how I do it is you select a worker, select a building you want to build, and then you hold Control on your keyboard. While holding it, just turn your mouse button, and you can
Gebäude wurde errichtet.
do it in increments like such. Very useful, especially when you don't have enough space or room to do something. But yeah, you can do it like that. You can do it quickly, you can go back and forth. So I'll do the tooltip thing on the right-hand side too, but yeah. Hopefully, if you didn't know that that's the case, you know now, and you can utilize it to its fullest. let's do a little bit of a hut here.
An die Arbeit.
You've noticed I like to
Schon dabei.
make it aesthetically pleasing when I make my camps, encampments, settlements, I guess. So you see, we have this little path here. I'm not gonna build anything on this path, but you can build it like this. Just makes it kind of seem like a road, you know, where people can walk on it, just go back in their house. Or over here. This one's kind of wonky. The one I'm the least happy with is this one. Because, it's kind of on the path here, but I don't think there's a better position for that one, so it'll have to be.
Nun sollten Sie etwas für die Verteidigung Ihrer Siedlung tun. Errichten Sie 2 Türme in dem durch Steinplatten markierten Bereich in der Nähe des Erzvorkommens, da Feinde vermutlich aus dieser Richtung angreifen werden.
Was wünscht ihr?
That we can do, tutorial lady. Let's do one here.
Gehen wir's an. Zu Dienst.
And let us do one down here.
Schon dabei.
Auf mein Zeichen. Schnell.
One thing I never really... I mean, I do get it. It's got to do with the construction boxes, or I guess the boxes of the buildings. But for humans, I think the max amount of workers who can work on a tower is 4. Might be 5. Let's try 5.
Ja, bin unterwegs. An die Arbeit.
No, it's 4. Okay.
Herr der Rune.
So it's 4. For elves, it's 3. I think dark elves are 3 as well. Orcs should be 4. So yeah, something to keep in mind, because the reason I'm saying this is when I first started playing SpellForce, I got to the elves and I got super used to, just sending 4 humans to build a tower quickly. And then when I played with the elves for the first time in the Shield, I did the same thing for the elves and just realized that one elf was always just standing there. Thought my game was broken for a second, but it wasn't, luckily. Thank God there, but you always learn by doing. Big fan of that.
Auf mein Zeichen.
Big fan of that. Alright, you 2 of you can go help.
Hier bin ich.
But yeah, generally, if you want to know how many people can work on a particular building, because every building has a limit. Now, obviously, big buildings can take more workers around them to be built, but just select the workers like this, not us, just the workers, and send them, right? And then the one that can't do anything just isn't gonna move, because the game is gonna predetermine which workers actually get priority on that. More food is not bad. I think we should also get a forge.
Einige Goblins greifen ihre Siedlung an.
Auf meinen
Sie werden
Befehl.
gleich ein Alarmsignal hören. Zusätzlich weist ein rotes Symbol in der Übersichtskarte auf den Ort des Angriffs hin. Verteidigen Sie Ihre Stadt mit dem Avatar und dem Helden.
Das ist ein Hinterhalt.
Easy peasy. Oh, the version of the game. That's something I have not mentioned earlier. So, I recently had to upgrade my GPU because my old GPU broke. That was expensive. It was also sad because okay, we already have a forge. Yeah, I had to buy a new one. I'm super satisfied with the new GPU. It's from AMD. That said, I have to wait here.
3 Rekruten und 3 Späher. Falls Sie eine Einheit nicht produzieren können, finden Sie im Hilfefenster einen rot markierten Text als Hinweis auf die Ursache, zum Beispiel ein fehlendes oder nicht besetztes Gebäude oder zu wenig Rohstoffe.
Yeah, I'm just not learning. I always start talking when I know there's going to be another tooltip. Anyhow, I had to get a new GPU. What that meant is that I started having problems with SpellForce 1. It's the typical stuff. No health bars, no mana bars, glitchy interface, stuff like that. Now, there is a fix. There is actually a mod, a patch that, I'll link it in the description below that you can use if you have these issues, and it fixes them for you. But because I had to, fix these, I was stuck playing on 1.54, the game version. I think both, just to get that out of the way, 1.54 and 1.61 being the newest, I guess, live release version, I think both are fine. 1.61 has some nice quality of life updates that I do enjoy using, but that I just can't run on my current system. So yeah, if you are playing on 1.54 and you want the same, you know, quality of life things, you just kind of have to download them separately. I think most of them are going to be available on websites like ModDB, Nexus Mods, even on the forum that we have, the fan forum, which is always linked below in the description. So yeah, if you want things like smart mages, automatic archers, that, oh, sorry, not any archers, but you shooting automatically when enemies come close and things like that, you can download those there. They're very useful. I think a very nice update in general for the game, but sadly not something that I am using for this tutorial. This Let's Play, it's purely vanilla. I will probably do modded Let's Plays at some point in the future, but this one is vanilla, nothing else. Right, not a single mod installed.
Jawohl.
Die Orks gleich wird eine
Bereit für
Patrouille
den Plan
ihre
offen
Siedlung
halten.
entdecken.
Marschbefehl,
Ein
ja?
gelbes Symbol erscheint in diesem Moment auf der Übersichtskarte. Vernichten Sie die Gegner, bevor sie entkommen.
Auf mein
Actually, that might be a lie. The mod I'm using is... that's not a mod really, but the English-German thing.
Auf meinen Befehl.
But that's just changing the language. In terms of gameplay and actual, you know, like, mechanics of the game, nothing has been changed. No graphics have been tampered with, no HD mod packs, nothing.
Jetzt werden Sie, um eine größere Armee zu produzieren, benötigen Sie mehr Nahrungsmittel. Selektieren Sie Ihr Menschenmonument.
Auf
Die
geht's.
unteren Zahlen in Haupthäusern können Sie die maximale Armeegröße erhöhen. Dies kostet Nahrungsmittel. Selektieren Sie Ihr kleines Haupthaus.
Yes, I believe I've done that, yes.
Unten in der erhöhen Sie nun die maximale Anzahl Ihrer Kampfeinheiten auf wenigstens 20 Einheiten, indem Sie das Symbol zweimal anklicken. Falls das Symbol abgedunkelt ist, haben Ihre Jäger noch nicht ausreichend Nahrungsmittel beschafft und Sie müssen etwas warten.
Yeah, I'm sorry for skipping the white tooltips, but they're just unnecessary for this.
Mit dem
Like this one,
kleinen
yeah?
Haupthaus können Sie produzieren Sie weitere Späher und Rekruten
Gebäude
und
wurde
zerstören
errichtet.
Sie das Orklager im Osten.
They're not...
Bauen Sie
oh.
weitere Rohstoffe ab und sorgen Sie für ausreichend Nahrung.
So, what I was trying to say is they're not useless. They definitely have good tips, you know, that they give you, but they're not necessary. I feel like, because a lot of the things I will just mention through gameplay, if you are playing this for the first time though, and you're doing the tutorial, read all of it. There's some really like good stuff that even long-time players don't know here. Like the rotating thing, right, for the buildings. I know people
Auf mein Kommando.
who have been, who've told me after, learning of this tip, like, hey, I've been playing SpellForce for like 10, 15 years. I never knew that was a thing, thank you. And I'm the same too. There are things in this game that I, haven't done before in terms of like gameplay mechanics. So, yeah, knowing those just makes it a little bit enjoyable. And it's something new to discover every time you play, you know? Like you do one Let's Play, you give it some time, you let some time pass basically between the playthroughs, you start a new one afterwards, and it's like, wow, something new. I like that. I like exploring new things in general and finding new things, just discovering stuff. So yeah, always a good thing to keep in the back of your mind. I realized I messed up here greatly,
Dort entlang.
because I cannot build a smelting works here now. Damn it.
Zu Diensten. Dann los.
Well, that's mildly infuriating, but my own fault, so I can't really blame anyone for that one. Did not think the whole thing through. Speaking of though, there is something I want to show you, which has to do with the resource buildings. I will probably do it in a moment's time, but I don't want to talk over the
Sie können
tooltip.
Leichen und in dem Orklager steht eine Kiste. Wenn Sie mit einer eigenen Figur in der Nähe stehen, können Sie die Kiste durch einen Klick mit der rechten Maustaste öffnen. Nehmen Sie die beiden Pläne darin an sich.
Let's get this over with to build this building and all of that, because that's the next step.
Sie haben gerade den Konstruktionsplan für ein neues Gebäude und den Einheitenplan für die menschliche Einheit Kleriker gefunden.
Yes, I did.
Öffnen Sie Ihr Inventar und gehen Sie auf die Seite Pläne.
If my voice sounds a little bit strange at times, I do apologize. I am a bit... not anymore, but I was sick.
Legen Sie den Einheitenplan
I was
in ein
sick,
freies Fach
for a
bei
couple
den
of days.
Einheiten in der unteren Zeile.
It was not fun to work while being sick, I'll tell you that much, but I'm still having these like after coughs sometimes.
Legen Sie den Gebäudeplan in ein freies Fach bei den Gebäuden in der oberen Zeile. Da die erste Zeile komplett belegt ist, müssen Sie zunächst den Pfeil nach rechts klicken.
So yeah, if I sound a little bit weird at times, it's because of that.
Verfügt über mich.
Ab jetzt können Ihre menschlichen Arbeiter auch den Tempel errichten. Schließen Sie Ihr Inventar.
Okay, let's
Gebäude
go.
errichtet.
Wenn
Yeah, like
Sie
that, you know?
menschliche errichten Sie in der Nähe der
It's like
Aria-Quelle einen
trying to clear your
Aria-Schrein
throat.
und in Ihrer Hauptsiedlung den Tempel des Lichts. Um diese Gebäude auswählen zu können, müssen Sie bei der Gebäudeauswahl den Pfeil nach rechts anklicken.
By the way, was I the only person who always built both of them next to each other?
Bis zu 5
As a kid.
produzieren Sie wenigstens 3 Kleriker. Falls Sie die Einheit nicht produzieren können, ist die Schaltfläche abgedunkelt. Bewegen Sie in diesem Fall die Maus über die Schaltfläche und achten Sie auf Hinweise im Hilfefenster. Falls die Anzahl Ihrer Kampfeinheiten bereits das Einheitenlimit erreicht hat, können Sie vorhandene Einheiten selektieren und mit K zerstören.
So, what I would do as a kid is I would build the Aria Shrine and then the Temple of Light just always next to it. Because for some reason I thought that it was kind of like a paired building. Because they both look a little bit different, even when you look on the when you look at the icons down here, right? They're kind of like grayish, where everything else is wooden for the most part, apart from the headquarter. So I thought, maybe I have to put them like this, otherwise they won't function. And I did that. Wasn't my smartest moment back in the day, but it was a moment, definitely. I'll make 5 of them. Send them here. But yeah, one thing I wanted to show you is how to actually... I'll stop this because if I don't, she's gonna, blabber over me again. So if you are building something like a food store or something like a forge, now, sorry, not forge, smelting works. I can't show it for the smelting. Oh, I can. Okay, great. So, you see, this makes no sense. I'm not gonna place it here. But look on the left-hand side where the mine is. You see how there's a green ring around it? Green circle? If there's a circle there around it, that when you are placing these, I guess, multiplication buildings for resources, that means that the workers will actually go to that building to take the iron there. So if I place my smelting works here, the miners will bring it all the way up there. It's not efficient, I'm not going to do it, but they would. Now if I move it a bit further away, like here, you see the circle's gone. Here they won't do it anymore. So here they will, won't. Will, won't. And the same is true for the... where is it? The same is true for the food store. If I get a food store and I build it kind of close, you see green circle. If I were to put it up here, green circle's gone. So green circle's gone.
Als nächstes wollen wir der Eisenproduktion etwas nachhelfen. Errichten Sie eine Schmelze im näheren Umkreis Ihrer Mine.
Well, that's both unfortunate and a bit embarrassing, but you know what? Just to prove a point, let's do it. I will make one up here. Let's go. This makes absolutely no sense. In any regular gameplay, you would not do this. But this isn't regular, this is our gameplay, so let's go. Maybe I can make a couple more units while I wait, like that, should be fine. You see, the encampment here is not really that hard to take. At all. As in, I think you could do it with like 5 units. But, better be safe than sorry. Ah, there's a little visual bug on this one. Actually all buildings seem to have it, so it's the buildings kind of go outside of the right hand. You see it? Like here too? Oh, these don't, and it only seems to be on the right hand side. Left is fine, up and down are fine. Right is not cut off for some reason. I'll be honest, I don't mind that all that much, but, you know. Now that I've seen it, I cannot unsee it. And it's probably going to be bothering me, a little bit at least. Okay, anything else we have to do before we move on? Do not think so, no. But it does give me a little bit of time to think about how I want to make my character. So I could have done the upgrade here. That's fine. So I really want it to be like a very quick fighter, you know. You get in and out, you use both hands for your weapons, for piercing weapons. That's important because I really want the character to use daggers. I feel like daggers are underused. I'm not sure how strong they are in this game, but most people, when they actually, you know, make characters who are fighters, they'll either do swords, they'll do clubs, they'll do anything except daggers. So I kind of want to do that.
Die Minenhandwerker werden nun das von Ihnen einfach errichten Sie ein Nahrungsmittellager.
Way ahead of you, tutorial lady.
Wenn das Nahrungsmittellager fertig ist, rufen Sie wenigstens 15 Kampfeinheiten herbei.
That we have also done. We can go up to 30.
Wenn Sie dringen Sie mit Ihrem Avatar, dem Helden und wenigstens 15 Kampfeinheiten weiter nach Osten vor. Sobald der Spähposten Sie entdeckt hat, erscheint ein gelbes Warnsignal auf der Übersichtskarte.
Alright, we don't need the extra units, but, you know, we'll get them anyway, just to be on the safe side. You never know, maybe they go down the hill here and, you know, try and flank us. They can't, they won't, but what if?
Die Orks sind alarmiert und schicken Ihnen eine Angriffswelle entgegen. Vernichten Sie die Orks und Ihr Hauptlager.
Alright, let's try and do this in third person. So, this guy is a bit indecisive. That's fine, you'll get there, buddy, you'll get there. Alright, let's do third person. Let's just watch. I don't even want to fight, I'll just watch. That was not an issue whatsoever. Let's get the whole thing over with. Oh, that's him. Oh my god, for a second I actually thought that someone kind of went around us and was running to the camp we had. Alright, this guy we need to get out of the way, Krong. They look so cool though. The orc, I guess champion. Is it champion? No, that's the, what's the English name? I keep forgetting, but the model that Krong has, I think looks so insanely cool. This guy just gave up. Okay. Good. Looks insane and looks scary. I remember as a child when I was in, when I was playing this, and I would see them, you know, like a huge army with a lot of these orcs in there. I shat my pants, I kid you not. Because keep in mind, when I played this for the first time, I was like 5, 4 or something. I neither understood how to play this game well, nor did I know anything of the story. The way I managed to play it, despite of that, is by just doing things until it eventually worked. Sometimes it didn't, but for the most part, right, I would just bluff my way through the game. I would keep doing things, for example, with these quests here. Like, okay, there's a new quest. I can't read it. I don't know what the quest wants from me. So I'm just gonna make a few characters. I'm gonna build a building. Eventually, it'll, you know, let me go through, so... That was kind of like my first experience with SpellForce. I still remember it pretty vividly, though. My cousin, he,
Der Anführer der Orks hatte die gesuchte Rune bei sich.
Yeah, let's go back.
Durchsuchen Sie die Leiche und nehmen Sie die Rune an sich, falls noch nicht geschehen.
My cousin brought it from Germany when he was there. Cannot thank him
Gehen
enough
Sie
for
nun
that.
zurück zu Joshua am
Auf meinen
Menschenmonument und reden Sie mit ihm.
Cannot thank him enough for that. But yeah, my cousin, he brought it with him in German, which is how I got accustomed to playing it in German, you know, as opposed to English or any other language, and also how I learned a big portion of my German. I'm fluent now, but when I first started playing, I had no idea. So by playing SpellForce, and eventually, you know, figuring stuff out, and we're talking about a span of a couple of years for this, I managed to, you know, get quite decent at the language, I'd say. Also with cartoons, so it wasn't just SpellForce, but, you know, amongst other things, it was definitely a big part. It did come with a couple of unfortunate side effects, I guess we could say. One of them being, and people who, you know German will get this, but the language they speak in SpellForce is a little bit different from regular German language. It's very similar in most regards, but sometimes they will use words that are a bit outdated. The sentence structure they will use is not normal, it doesn't sound natural for everyday speech, which I couldn't know as a child, so I just memorized it as it was. And then, when I started learning German in school afterwards, I would sometimes use those, and my teachers would be just like, well, that sounds a bit weird, sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? And I had no idea why, because in my mind, like, hey, SpellForce did it, so it should be fine. I managed to rectify these blunders by now, but yeah, it caused quite a few unfortunate situations when I was a kid.
Bei Zarachs verfluchten Augen, die Rune! Du hast es geschafft! Auch wenn ich den Anblick eines Runenkriegers nur schwer ertrage, niemand sonst hätte das je vollbringen können.
Yeah, thank you.
Meister Rune wird erleichtert sein.
I guess, thank you. I don't know.
Für das Lösen der Queste haben Sie zusätzliche Erfahrungspunkte. Öffnen Sie das Inventar und gehen Sie in die Rubrik Charakterinformation.
Okay, I'm in there.
Wählen Sie verteilen Sie die neuen Attributspunkte, zum Beispiel auf Stärke oder Weisheit. Klicken Sie dazu im Fenster auf die kleinen Pfeile direkt neben den Zahlenwerten der Attribute. Die einzelnen Attribute verteilen Sie nun die neuen Fähigkeitspunkte. Klicken Sie auf Neue Fähigkeit und wählen Sie rechts im Fenster die leichte Kriegskunst aus. Verteilen Sie den zweiten Punkt beliebig durch einen Klick auf einen der kleinen Pfeile neben den Fähigkeiten.
She looks like one of the worst skilled room warriors you can actually get.
Sie finden diese Nahkampffähigkeit in Ihrem Zauberbuch. Übertragen Sie Berserk in das Zaubergedächtnis.
This will be fine. White Magic Life, Fire, perfect combination.
Schließen Sie nun
Adding
Ihr
light
Inventar.
combat to the whole thing, I'm not so sure about that. Because what ends up happening with it is, you just won't have enough points.
Lösen Sie Berserk testweise aus, indem Sie Ihre Figur selektieren und das Symbol unten in der Aktionsleiste oder oben links unter dem Porträt anklicken.
Alright, let's go hunt some animals. That's one thing I wish were the
Wenn
case.
Sie Berserk sprechen Sie Joshua noch kurz an.
You know how in Warcraft 3, you could deliberately choose to attack friendly units or animals? I wish, even for animals here, that there was like a button you could press and you could attack anything. Also, what I talked about earlier, they are bringing it up here. Crazy inefficient, but they are doing it. So, let's talk to Joshua and finish this tutorial. You could, I'll talk about this now, you could go down here, get some extra tooltips, get some extra practice with units, with Berserk, right? If you have any new skills you want to try out, I think you can level up one more time as well. I will not be doing that this time around, because it's just target practice for the most part. You can do it, you should do it, if it's your first time playing. And when you do, when you see these statues here, go stand in front of them and you're gonna get tooltips. So, if it's something you've never done, if it's something you want to check out, please do. It's a great opportunity to learn the quirks of the game. Things like rotating buildings, for example, are told through these tooltips. And I even believe the green ring thing we talked about earlier as well. Plus other, some are a bit more kind of common sense-ish tips. Some are really useful, so do it. We'll go over all of those tips throughout the gameplay, but yeah, just to save a little bit of time here, because I don't think it's necessary.
Es wird langsam Zeit für mich aufzubrechen. Es war gut, wieder an deiner Seite zu kämpfen.
Komm, ich begleite dich zum Portal.
That I will. Let us go, Joshua.
Zerbos Gnade! Hört das denn nie auf?
Das wird interessant.
Ruhen!
Ein Überfall!
Meister Ruhen! Noch einen Augenblick später und wir wären verloren gewesen.
I'm being attacked.
Habt ihr die Rune?
Tahira hat sie aus den Ruinen geholt. Hier ist sie.
Tahira, ich danke dir. Du hast...
Euch gut gedient?
Ich verstehe deinen Zorn. Glaub mir, das war es wert. Diese Rune ist der Schlüssel zu unserer Zukunft und Vergangenheit.
Oh, foreshadowing, foreshadowing.
Doch nun will ich dich nicht länger behelligen. Lebe in Frieden, Tahira. Wir werden uns nicht wiedersehen.
Leb wohl, Tahira.
My cat's on the right of me, sitting, or not trying to sit on the windowsill and just looking out.
Mit einem magischen
Funny guy.
gehen Sie nach Westen zum Portal, um die Karte zu verlassen. Oder folgen Sie dem Weg nach Süden, um weitere nützliche Hinweise zu erhalten.
No, he is on the window, actually, now. Looks kind of picturesque. Anyway.
Portale erlauben einem die Reise
okay.
zu neuen Plattformen, auch wenn man dort noch über keinen aktiven Seelenfels verfügt. Wenn Sie dieses Portal benutzen, betreten Sie die nächste Karte.
Right, so we'll do that. One thing I wanted to say about this last scene where Rowan helps you. I think it's great. You know, he comes in, he shows you, I'm a circle mage. Not an issue for me whatsoever. I do wish that the orcs that they used looked more threatening. Because that's a bunch of cave orcs. I'm pretty sure we, with our army over here, could have easily cleared that. So maybe like a big, bulky, like a veteran... Yeah, veterans, that's what they were called. Veteran army of orcs or something like that, you know? Would have been a bit more cinematic. But anyhow, there is some fighting going on, it seems. Here, who's dying?
Ich werde angegriffen.
Oh, yes, yeah, sorry mate, I don't think you're getting out of that one. Yeah, you aren't. Anyhow, that should be the end of this map. I don't need to save really here, I don't think so. But I might. Let's do tutorial 1, whatever. Save here. And yeah, what else is there to say? Next time we'll continue with Greyfell. It's also going to be 1 episode for when we go there. Thanks for watching. And before I sign off here, I would greatly appreciate it for all of you who watched through to the end. Thank you, first and foremost, for watching. And second of all, if you go down into the description, there's a couple of links, including our fan Discord and our fan pages. Yeah, I like to talk to people on both the pages and Discord, you know, the forum, so if you want to join, it's free. I'd appreciate it. If not, it's your life. You get to live it how you want to. And with that said, yeah, thanks again. I'll see you soon, probably in a couple of days, and we'll start the game proper. Bye.